What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back to PeakBot's Man and Machine, episode 203. Been doing this for quite a while, although we count both of our shows. You know, we do stack them.
We do.
Ben, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. The weekend was fun. I was out or up in Vermont skiing last week, so that was a good time. Great conditions, freezing cold, but really good conditions.
Was it windy?
During certain parts, yeah, and that's the
the killer.
worst. Yeah, especially when you're on an open lift going up the mountain and you're just sitting in the freezing cold. It was -20 at the summit. Yeah, freezing
with wind chill, and then probably felt even colder. Yeah, I can do cold. I'm an ice fisherman. I can do cold. I'm going Thursday, but if it's windy, I'm out. It could be 35, 40 degrees, almost warm, but if it's windy, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So good powder.
Yeah, good powder. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. Saw some of our mutual friends. Had a nice little meal. Just caught up on sleep. That was nice. And actually, I had a date night with my wife, which we don't.
Oh, there you go.
Because I have a little kid running around. Ben, Maggiano's. Just so you know, still not disappointing anybody.
That's where you went, huh? Did you get the to-go meal as well?
They're not doing it anymore.
I feel like doing it anymore.
I know. So a couple changes on Maggiano's while we're waiting for people to flood in anyway. So the table bread is different now.
Okay.
You know, I love that table bread. It's half the reason I go. Give me my oil, give me my pepper, my cheese. They don't do that anymore. They almost give you a sweet bun, it's with a little bit of salt on top of it. It's pretty good. I go, how often are people asking for their oil and their old bread back? And he's like, often. Calamari still as great as ever. And I did get those huge fried zucchini sticks, which are unbelievable.
Yeah, those are good.
I had a $100 gift card. It was just me and my wife. I'm like, let's go. You know, let's just get whatever you want.
Bottle of wine?
No, because I refused. I got a bottle of Peroni. I just got a beer.
Okay,
that's my move there. But man, since we're finance show, right? Talk about inflation. How much do you think the cheapest glass of I'm not buying a bottle. My wife doesn't drink. The cheapest glass of 6-ounce red wine on the Maggiano's. And Maggiano's is fair pricing.
Yeah, they're fairly priced, especially for what you get.
Exactly.
$14?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like wine that much. I mean,
especially when you have a $7 Peroni as the alternative.
Yeah, and I didn't even look at the price because I knew it was less than the wine. I don't even know if they listed it, but I just saw a Peroni bottle and I got it. But anyway, so yeah, great meal. Thank you for asking. I hope everybody else had a great weekend. We're here. We're back. We got a wild week. Now, we didn't go live on Friday. So I might suggest at some point, we'll go over it at the end of the show, but if we feel it's important as we're talking about any of these things, talk about economic events for this week, feel free to just pivot and jump into those. Top of your head, busy week or no?
I was out for a couple days last week, so I wasn't even really looking at this economic calendar. Why don't we start there?
Let's do it. Hold up.
Let's get this up on screen. Talk about the economics of our economy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah.
So what do we have going on today? We have ISM manufacturing. We are not in trades currently for our 1DT strategies on Friday going into today. VIX kept us out of trades, so we are not in anything today, but we could enter tomorrow. Although from the last time I checked, futures are down. When futures are down, we usually gap down. And when we gap down overnight, VIX gaps up. And if there's too much of a gap up, our 1DT strategies do not trade. So anyways, manufacturing PMI after the bell today, not much. The rest of the day, we got JOLTS tomorrow. So that's jobs data. I wouldn't mind being off for that. That's after the market opens. But of course, happy to trade on through that. We've got ISM services. Today's manufacturing, Wednesday is services. And it looks like a lot of other data on Wednesday morning, but really nothing to keep us off.
Okay.
Moving into Thursday, just a whole lot of noise but nothing to keep us off. And then we've got NFP, non-farm payrolls, on Friday, so that will cause the King Condor and PB Condor, not King AI, but a couple of our 1DT strategies, that'll cause us to be off from Thursday going into Friday of this week. We've also got unemployment rate pre-market, so that comes in an hour before the market opens. Then we have Michigan consumer sentiment reports that'll turn Max's bots off. And that's about it for the rest of the day on Friday.
All right. So, big thing there was non-farm payroll for a couple of our bots, and certainly could bring some volatility to the market. But generally speaking, a lot of data out there, but maybe, as you kind of said, a lot of bark, maybe not a lot of bite. We'll see. Okay, excellent. So from here, we will go into stocks in real life. I think we got a good one today. Maybe we'll look at the chain. We'll see if there's anything interesting going on. And if there is, maybe we'll put an order out there, not financial advice. But let's talk about it, Ben. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. All right. So today we are going to be talking about Uber. Uber with the tagline "On Our Way." We actually covered Uber probably a year ago now.
Yeah.
So it warrants a new conversation. It warrants us taking a look at the charts again and figuring out how we might want to trade Uber at the moment. Uber, direct competitor with Lyft, beat Lyft to the market, therefore, has that first mover effect and has significantly more market share than Lyft. When it comes to Uber versus Lyft as a consumer, do you have a preference?
So I think we're in our early 30s, right? So I think we were in an interesting age where, like, when Uber hit, we needed it most. Fair? Right?
Yeah.
When Uber came out, we were what? I don't think it was even around when we were in high school. I think Uber came out when we were in college. And thank God, loved Uber. Not that I had much Uber action in northeastern Pennsylvania, okay? But it still was there when you needed it. I'm an Uber guy. I've used Lyft. Outside after college, I lived outside of DC, Baltimore area. So you're just competing. I remember we're outside of, this is my heyday, right? We're 22 years old. We're outside of the bars. One's got Lyft up, one's got Uber up. Where's the cheapest ride? Because that's obviously all you're in it for. Oh, yeah. Maybe if you're feeling good about yourself, you're like, well, what's just the closest ride? I don't care what's more. Just give me what's here. If it's cold, if you got your girl with you or something, maybe you go with
just like get me home now.
Yeah. But my favorite thing about Uber, I'm glad this is on here today, and we're going to look at the stock, but I'm an Uber guy through and through. I remember going out for the night, and then it's whatever time, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and you're calling your Ubers, and you're looking at the price, and you're like, there's no way. Even if we split this 5 ways, there's no way we're doing this right now. So we would walk out of Baltimore, out of the inner city, blocks. Did you ever do this? You just keep walking. Walk. Yep. Where is this going to get to a fair price that I'm going to accept? Even if you're getting farther away from home, just get me to a cheaper Uber price.
Well, I'm gonna stop you right there. There was a hack to that, because after the first time of myself walking blocks and blocks and blocks, I was like, there's got to be. You could just change your pickup location, and changing the pickup location would change the price. So you could put your pickup location blocks away and see how cheap it was.
But then you got to get there, or no? You're just like, you call them and say, "Oh, I'm here."
No, you got to get. I mean, I'm sure you could have done that, but you got to. But instead of walking and then finding out
later.
Yeah.
See, I guess I was never really hanging with the accounting folk. Yeah, it's more the. It's more the sports. It's more the baseball guys. We were just like, oh, it'll fit us. We can get 2 in the trunk. I mean, now we're getting back into. Come on, we had people in the trunk. Oh, yeah. All right, so let's. What else about Uber? I mean, I'm taking a look at the stock here. Ben, I pulled it up on TradingView. I'm going to share my screen because I've got some ridiculous trend lines on here from a past life, maybe trend spread days.
Definitely. Okay. I've definitely traded Uber on trend spread, on wheel.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot going on here. So I was calling out this bullish pattern, it seems, or maybe trying to map it out. I had strikes at 89 and 86. God knows when I put that on, but a $3 spread. This is trend spread all day. I was trying to be bullish or bearish about it. And is it, first of all, before we get into it, do you have any other like fun Uber stories or experiences? Any terrifying ones? I've had some scary ones.
Not terrifying. I did have an Uber driver at one point in time. I forget what country we were in, but we didn't know where we were. He was just driving around like in circles, like doing nonsense. And when you look back at like the map, you could see he was just like this.
He's just racking it up.
Rack up the tab. He knew we were travelers. He knew that he could take advantage, or so he thought, because we reported him to Uber. We got a free ride out of it, and even some Uber credit.
You got lucky on that.
Another one was we got one of our Uber drivers was a former NFL lineman. So he was telling us he won a couple Super Bowls. I forget his name.
Where were you?
Palm Beach.
Nice. I think I've had one guy do laps on me, but it was because I was like passed out in the car. I was asleep, and this guy's like, "Oh, let's just do a couple of laps around this apartment." Anyway, all right. The younger days, man, that was kind of fun reminiscing. How irresponsible. Okay. What about the chart, Ben? You got the chain up by any chance? If not, I'll pull it up. Here, let's look at the chart again, and then I'm going to clear all my stuff so we can get a clear look at it. We are in a relatively bearish run right now, it seems. Let me just pull this back up.
Pull it back up. I'll get the chain ready to rock.
All right, so let's just go 1 year. All right, well, we'll zoom out. Actually, Ben, guesses on when it IPO'd? I don't have it on the chart here, I don't think.
Oh, geez. IPO 2012?
Way later. May 10, 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
So it was private when we were using it.
Yeah, so here it is. May 10th, or this looks like May 1st of 2019.
Look at that.
At 40 some odd dollars a share. That's been the ride. Okay, so we launch, COVID happens. I guess they don't really do much in COVID. They seem like, I guess in the middle of COVID, they spike here and then crash with a lot of the market in I shouldn't say crash, fall back, correct, in 22.
That looks like, $60 down to $20. That's
it's a crash.
Significant, yeah.
And how long? This is from April of 21 to July. Okay, about a little over a year. Yeah, that's a tough year for Uber. I would like to see what the S&P looks like in that time frame, but then a very great resurgence, and up. All-time highs look to be
pulling back.
Yeah, so all-time highs looks like just under $102 a share, if I had to guess by looking at this. Closed on Friday at $80. Pre-market, it's at $79.89. So yeah, there's a little bit of a pullback here. I would say that there's definitely some type of support here and or here. As we zoom out, around the $63 price point. I'm going to just take a look at, whoa. Is my screen still up here? Can we see this?
Yep.
Look at this. I don't spend too much time trading individual stocks anymore, right? I'm an ETF and index guy, but look at these earnings. Some of these are outrageous, and then just hitting on others. Who knows what they're going to do? February 4th. Oh.
Do we want to put on an earnings play?
All right, so Ben, do me a favor.
We're not selling earnings; we're buying earnings.
Do me a favor, pull it up and see if Uber's on the trend spread watch list right now. I just want to know what trend spread would see on this. Not an active strategy anymore for anybody who's paying attention. Trend spread's a former automated strategy of ours where you picked a watch list, sold the directional credit spread for the week, and avoided assignment by rolling contracts.
You know what? It might not pop up because of, I'm looking at the watch list now. It's not going to pop up because
pre-market and stuff.
Our filters that we have reduce the size of what you see.
We got a little more strict. All right, so Ben. So look, here's the technicals for a week. All right, we're still bearish over a week, but over the course of a month, if we're going to stretch this thing out, it's very bullish. Analyst ratings are a very strong buy. I'm going to take a look at this. Whoa, dude. Okay, again, nothing that I really want to take too heavily into consideration, but geez, Ben, normally when we come in here, we're seeing red and green split in real estate.
Yep.
And this is we're almost at their minimum. There's 44 saying strong buy, analyst rating saying strong buy, only one strong sell. Wonder who that, you know who that is? Lyft. Somebody lobbying for Lyft. Anyway, hey, Ben, crap. I was kind of the short-term bearish play. I was like kind of feeling for a second. Now I'm thinking almost maybe a longer-term bullish play if we're feeling this good about it. And
I'm looking at past earnings from this year. Pull up that chart you had. Just was it previous earnings that were beat by a lot?
Yeah. So we had, where'd it go? All right. So this last earnings report in November, estimated was 0.69. Actual was 3.11.
All right. Switch your chart to the daily chart because I'm looking at this on my screen. So even though earnings was a big beat, price fell.
Yeah.
Price fell in November.
So back in November here, right? So here's where earnings was. Yeah. Okay. So what does that tell you?
It's interesting. Yeah, it's definitely. And then if we look at earnings back in August, there wasn't an immediate, a small immediate spike, but longer term, there was a nice run up from $90 to above 100, so 10% gain on the underlying. And then back in May, there was a nice spike up a couple days after earnings. So we went from $80 up to, looks like $92. So like a 15% increase in the underlying there. So I'm wondering what the right play for this earnings might be. I'm thinking it might be to buy a straddle. So buy a call to put at the money. I'm looking at the data now.
I'm pulling yours up here now.
I'm looking at the chain. Currently, Uber is trading at just under $80 pre-market. So these are the strike. This is a strike we could target, the $80 strike. We could get a little bit cheaper and buy a strangle, which is just buying an out of the money put and buying an out of the money call. But if we were to price this out, buy the call, buy the put at the $80 strike. Let's send that to the ticket. Let's look at this analysis here. It's going to cost us, based on the current pricing, which will change. Sorry, we need a debit to open, which will change when the market opens. It would cost us about $590 to open this, which means in order to break even on intrinsic value alone, we would need Uber to move, the underlying to move at least $6 up or $6 down. So in either direction, but as a result of this earnings play. Then you have to take into consideration, okay, well, what expiration are we going to look at? Right now, we're just looking at Friday's expiration. So that means that we would need that big of a move by the end of this week. Now, judging based off of past earnings, the only time we got a really big move like that was in this most previous earnings where we closed the day before earnings or the day of, but if they reported after hours, we closed at 99.72 and then opened at what was that, 91.97. So 90, call it 90, call it 100 down to 100 or 92. So that's an $8 swing, which would in this case be profitable if we're saying, $6 is our break even. I don't know. Kind of tough. We could recalibrate here. Look at a strangle. Make it a little bit cheaper for ourselves, a little bit less at risk, but we'll have to see where our break evens come into play.
Okay. By the way, this was the last one you put in. $6 in each direction. So
that's where we would need to travel to be profitable.
Yep. And you're right in the middle of the highway there, kind of.
Okay, fair enough. Let's take a look at a strangle. Let's price that out. So if we wanted to, we can go a couple dollars into the or out of the money. So I'll buy. Let's say we're going to go $3 in either direction. So buy the 77 strike on the put side, and then 83 strike on the call side. If we send that to our ticket here, that's still about a $6. It's actually a little bit more of a move that we would need because we're $3 out of the money plus a $3.50 bid here or mid that we would pay. So that's $6.50 until we break even. So pushing out the break even a little bit more. However, if we lose, we're only going to lose $350 versus the $590 that the straddle would have cost us. So strangle versus straddle. The strangles are always going to be cheaper because you're buying out of the money. The straddle is going to be a closer break-even point, but you're going to pay for it. If you don't get that move, that faded decay is going to eat into your contracts very quickly. My thought is let's take an 11-day approach here and let's see how much this strangle is going to, or this straddle is going to cost us. Because I think Uber might need some days to settle in after earnings. But hey, that's going to cost us $10. I'm not feeling these trades. I'm not feeling these trades on Uber for earnings.
No, with earnings this week, kind of just threw everything off, truthfully. I kind of liked your approach. I was then going to look at, just a directional credit spread, maybe, again, like bullish long-term or bearish short-term. But who knows? I couldn't do anything short-term with that earnings report on. That's one of our rules, right? When we did trade trend spread was if it's trading earnings, don't trade.
Yeah, we're not selling earnings.
So not enough upside and a lot of downside. So, okay, cool. Well, hey, Uber, a walk back on memory lane there. Yeah, fun days. I don't know the last time I got an Uber, and I don't know the next time I'll get one, but I'll get one.
For me, it's only when I travel now.
Yeah, And internationally, before we put it down, internationally, you're Uber over Lyft.
Yeah, I don't know that Lyft is available in as many
is it? You're right. You might even be right about that. But I will tell you, Uber has been there for me internationally. It has been.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, all right. Thank you, Uber. Good luck to you this week. And if you're listening, I don't know, give us some ideas. Okay, where do we go now? Bot shop.
By the way, just noticing. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Billy, thanks for being here. And then, yes, IV will likely drop after earnings, goes against the strangle straddle. Right. That's exactly the point we were trying to make there was you need that big move immediately. Otherwise, your credit is just going to get swallowed up. Your value is just going to get swallowed up.
Yep.
By theta decay and by IV crush.
Hey, do you mind if I ask you a question live? I bet it is about our portfolio, but it's also about testing bots and stuff. Do you mind if I just ask?
Yeah, ask.
Hey, do you need me to run that wheel again this week?
Yeah.
That wheel test? Yeah. All right, because I got assigned on Clean Spark and I'm pissed.
That's perfect. That's good that you got assigned for testing purposes.
All right, so I'm going to let it rock.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it on. We're going to make sure it does what it needs to do, aka sell at my assignment price, have my protective put in place, and go collect some premium. All right, cool. Let's keep it on. Ben, Bot Shop, King AI. Why would we talk about anything else? What have we been doing this whole time? Go.
King AI, let's hit it.
Actually, before you do, Ben, can we remind them of the results? Because you're going to get nerdy on them. I think people got to tell them.
Go ahead.
Why it's so exciting. Okay, I'm going to hurry up.
Pop it up.
I have it. All right, share screen, entire screen, boom, bang, boop. I think this is live. Yeah, this is updated. All right, so people, listen up very, very quickly. This is important. We're about to talk about our King AI strategy. Add to stage. What's going on? Help me out. Oh, dude, because you're
media.
Yeah, you got your go. I got it. You had your ghost page up, man. I hate when you get the ghost page up. All right, King AI, 1DTE. Iron Condor on SPX, very strict entry criteria, incredible win rate, been live for about 4.5 months. Here's the data available, updated daily, but it's only lost 5 times in 52 trades, 47 wins, 5 losses, 90.4% win rate. This will be our hook, and this is what we're going to put in the thing later. So I should start over, but I blew it. 2770 is profit. Now that's using 2K per unit. All right, that's 138% return And coming off of a loss, not last week, not much trading last week, week before.
Yep.
Which I like. I like coming off of losses.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the monthly calendar, still up $280 per unit in January, which is great when you consider you only need $2,000 worth of cash to trade this strategy.
This is great right here. Sustain the loss.
Yep.
Keep popping.
That's right. Take a look at December too while you're on this sheet, because December is fun to look at. Why not? Why not look at it?
Let's zoom out here. Hold on. Just got to get a little bit more view in here for all these returns. Okay, so yeah, very green. Very, very green December. Santa was good to us. November. This is important to look at while we're at it. We're supposed to be quick about this. You kind of got me going now. 2 losses in November. Just still squeezing out for break even. Strong October and a fantastic September. So bot's hot, people. All right, Ben, tell them more about how it's built. Let's do it.
Cool. All right, so we spent the last several weeks going over different components of the King AI strategy. We've gone through some results. We've gone through the AI training that we put into this at the surface level for the course of 2 weeks. We talked about adjusting deltas and how our machine learning model is doing that on your behalf. So it's choosing the deltas that have a good risk reward ratio and a high probability of success. We talked last week about when not to trade. Now this week we're going to talk about exiting a trade. So this one is going to be a fairly quick segment because this bot doesn't have a stop loss. And I wanted to talk about why we don't have a stop loss, because when you compare this to the King Condor strategy, which you'll find in your PeakBot account, the King AI strategy is a derivative of the King Condor strategy. And it really stems from the fact that we saw King Condor get stopped out many, many times, only for price to recover later on in the day and turn that loss into a win. So we said, hey, let's come up with a strategy based on this type of trade structure that we can just let ride and use AI to help us pick the best available strikes and maximize returns here. Of course, that's always the goal. So no stop loss. With that, we are avoiding those whipsaw exits that we saw, cutting those winners. So those 1 DT plays holding overnight is always a risk. But we are going to hold through. And hey, if we lose, you saw it on the results sheet. It sucks. It's going to happen. But when you let those wins stack up like they have been stacking up over time, you're going to take a look back at your account at the end of the year and hopefully be very, very pleased with what you see there. So without that stop, our profitable spreads can run through to a max credit instead of getting trimmed out early. And usually trimmed out for a loss. We're not going to have many forced exits. We'll talk about that in a second, but that's going to account for lower churn, lower slippage, and it just makes this strategy really clean, really easy to trade. I'd say you could trade it manually, but due to the machine learning component to select the actual strikes at entry, you can't really trade it manually unless you're looking and you're subscribed to our alerts, in which case you'll get the alert, you'll pop it in, and you'll make the trade yourself. But it's not something that you can just go ahead and trade on your own. And having no stop loss keeps the overall hedging mechanics intact, right? That condor effect, so you can offset pressure on one wing. So if we're testing the call credit spread, we know that the put credit spread side of the trade is doing very well, and vice versa. And we know that if one spread loses, the other one is always going to win. So you do collect premium, you do win on one side every single day. But it's, those one-sided losses are going to hurt more than the actual credit that you receive. So yeah, overall, we're letting this iron condor structure work until expiration comes at us and essentially closes out the trade at that point. That's going to often yield to a steadier move up in that P&L curve over time. Now, while we don't have a stop loss, there are certain times where we might exit. I say where the bot might exit for, we'll call it a surprise event. So think like unscheduled headlines that produce discontinued discontinuous moves and bypass intraday decay, causes IV spikes. This is something that the baseline filters for the bot weren't designed to pick up, and it's usually something that the market hasn't even priced in either. We see this a lot with tariff announcements. We see this a lot and these are political events mostly. I'd say economic events are typically planned for and made known about well in advance.
Yep.
It's usually when President Trump gets on camera and starts saying things that people don't necessarily expect him to say. Although we should expect the unexpected at this point.
Yep.
Right. But however, the market doesn't know what to price in. So that's usually the time that this bot will exit if our scanners pick up on some sort of significant event that President Trump is involved in, that Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, is involved in. There will be a new chairman of the Fed this year. So we'll keep an eye out for that and how that could impact the markets. But overall, after that initial shock of this event, the spreads will reprice. IV will go back to normal. However, the damage could be done by that point. So we want to step aside and we want to reduce our risk. And if you think about it, one outlier trade can erase multiple routine wins here. We're in it for the base hits. We're just going base hit after base hit. We want win after win after win. And, I'd rather take the day off and be wrong because of, something unexpected that pops up than take a risk and be wrong on that risk, right? Take a risk and then lose that day when we could have just sat it out and maybe gave up $100 to $200 in credit. So the net effect here is fewer large losses because we're going to get out before these volatile events to the extent that the bot can, and just cleaner movement over the entire sequence of trades.
Excellent. Well, look, we love King AI. We love everything about it. We love to keep calm and condor on, which is exactly the mentality behind our exit and just letting it go to expiration. Just as a quick reminder, one more time, here are the results, and this is available on our website and or at peakbot.com/KingAI results. So you'll see over 10 years of backtest data in here, but you'll see all the live trades from November 17th. That's when we went live here. That's when these strategies, that's when this turned on for us and our traders. So we've only sustained 5 losses. Again, you can see them here. By the way, Ben, any guesses? We did this on the last show. I want to see if you remember, without looking at the numbers. Any guesses how much we made before a loss when we launched?
Made before a loss.
Like win streak before we sustained our first loss on King AI Live.
Like $2,900.
I think that was a little high. Let's see. I think it was like just under 2K. I'm saying like 1880. Oh man, I was off by $5. 1880.
Oh, our first loss. Sorry, I thought you meant our most recent loss.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? I'm gonna give you credit then. I bet you would have gotten that right, or in the ballpark.
That was a misunderstanding on my part.
Yeah, bad communication. Apologies. Anyway, here's the good news. We're already making up ground. We're almost halfway out of the last loss that we took in 3 trades. We love that. Great things ahead for King AI, hopefully. So, Ben, last thing. Is there any other topics we should discuss before we wrap? Because normally we do next. I have one thing to show you. Because testing is fun. While you were getting into the King AI stuff, I took a closer look at my CleanSpark position. All right, because I got assigned on the wheel, right? I got assigned at $12 a share. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show a few things that I looked into because this is fun and for me, and it could be terrible or awesome. But that's what happens when you test. So for context, we chose, our wheel strategy. We're testing some things out. I chose a cheap stock to test things out on. That's what we do here. We make sure we put our own money to work before we let you do anything with it. All right. So look, I got assigned on CleanSpark, Ben. Here's my account. Let's get out of this first, and we'll go to the dashboard. My only position in my account right now is my shares of CleanSpark. All right, this is a clean account. All I'm doing in this account right now. I trade all of our strategies. King AI. So now we're down at 1184. I got assigned at 12. So when we take a look at the chart, here it is. This is the daily chart. I like to think that there's some support here at the 1165. Here's the thing, Ben, reporting earnings this week. Of course, naturally. On me, should call it that. But here's what I'm thinking. So when we look at the technical, first of all, big drop just over the last 2 days from $13 all the way down to 1181. So if we look at the week, it's not, it could be scary week, but over the month, again, we're not married to the technicals here, but when I look at the analyst ratings, this is nice for me. Right? So we got not too many people weighing in, but 14 analysts, 13 say strong buy, 1 say buy, and all things looking up here. So my point is, when I was looking at it on the chain, I think I'm due to earn some pretty good premium this week because of this. What's the ticker again? I just had it up. CLSK. And then we'll get out of here. But so Ben, New Wheel is going to do the following, and correct me if I'm wrong here. So I got assigned at 12, so I'm going to be selling a call at 12, correct?
Yep.
We're going to sell the 12 call here, and then we're going to buy the protective put at the 10 delta. Closest to without going over?
Just closest to.
Closest to. All right, so then that brings us either to 9.5 or 10. What's the math here? You're the math guy.
9.5. That's what it would be.
So we're going to buy that. So we're going to send this to the ticket here. All right. So for this week, and this is pre-market. We'll see what happens when we open up today. But some decent credit available for me there. The nice thing about this strategy is I know that unless my protective put gets blown out, I can hold these shares for a while. I'm pretty bullish, at least from what I see here in the short term. So, I just took a closer look at a test position. I figured I'd share it with you guys because there's some new logic to our wheel strategy. And I think, Ben, our wheel strategy gets slept on because it's just all faithful. You know what I mean? It's an investment style strategy. And if you're playing this now how we play it, this is just a test on ETFs and index funds, SPY, QQQ, TQs, IBIT, gold, silver. There's really a lot of ways to have a strong year with the wheel. But anyway, that's me. Enough about that. Ben, anything else before we wrap here?
Let's get wrapped up. We got the bell coming in 20 minutes, so
let's get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be live again Friday for the Automation Station, our second show here on the fantastic Tradier Hub. Thank you to Tradier for hosting us, as always. Great partners. And I believe that's it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you at the peak. Take care, everybody.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.